I have been doing a little listening to your music, and it is
Hmm.
such a vibe,
Thank
especially
you.
being in Dubai, where I am currently. We listen to a lot of Afro House, and your
Hmm.
music is truly unique and one of a kind. So, first and foremost, welcome to Top Time.
Thank you. Thank you.
This
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. You're actually my first guest in like 1 or 2 years. I took a hiatus, so it really is truly an honor to have you here.
The pleasure is all mine.
Yeah. So first, let's really dive into your recent collaboration. So I've heard that you've collaborated, and I've actually listened to your song with Quavo and your
Mhm.
songs with Lil Wayne. Tell me a little bit about how you got started as an artist. I can see that you're from Nigeria and how you kind of broke into the music scene in North America and how you blended your passion with the cultures here and what you faced along the way.
Okay, so I've always had like mentors in the United States, Lil Wayne, and all of the hip hop greats, Tupac Shakur. So when I started music, I actually wanted to, be in America, do collaborations with these guys because they were people I really loved while I was growing up. So, but then when you're in Nigeria, they say, oh, kind of like make the music more local, do more local sounds so that people enjoy your music more. So I kind of started, even if I had a lot of American influence in my earlier writings, I started to like do more Nigerian stuff, but I just told
Mhm.
myself that if I had song ideas for, let's say like I wrote that song for Little Wayne like years ago. And the whole idea was to okay, let's just send this song to him as a song that he will put on his catalog. But then
Yeah.
he had other ideas and wanted to just put a verse on the song and let me have the song. So that was how that kind of happened. And with Quavo, it was literally the same thing because I was going to my manager's house. I was in Lagos, Nigeria, and a bit was playing on the radio. And it was
Uh-huh.
at the time when Quavo and Sawiti had their beef. Quavo took the Bentley from her, and there was kind of like this gender divide where women were supporting Sawiti and men were supporting Quavo. That if they were in Quavo's shoes, they would take the car back. Why would I buy you a Bentley of $300,000? And then you go on Twitter and reply my tweet with buy after we have a little disagreement. So it was kind of like a team song where I was just like I was just in my car, a beat was playing, I was just singing Quavo, Quavo, that's
Yeah.
the same ball, Quavo, So we kind of like pitched it to him as a song that could be on his album because then he was already doing promotion for his album. But then, we got word back that he's already finished up with his album. He's no longer like accepting songs to be put on the album, but then he can put a verse on it if we want a verse. And we were like, sure. And that was how that happened. First of all, I realized I didn't tell you, like, I'm sorry I came a little late because, it's Labor Day here and we, like, a lot of people overslept because
I
we didn't
understand. It's
stay.
so early. I was kind of expecting you to be in a bathtub like me. Like just
Okay.
hop out of bed, like climb in. This is a very chill podcast. I really appreciate that you took time to like get ready. You
Yes.
actually fit the colors of the theme quite well.
Okay,
Like
the cream,
we
the
do a lot of
cream.
whites, baby blues, yeah.
Yeah, I was actually, sometimes I go for my interviews shirtless, and people are like, "This
Yeah.
guy's crazy." So I did when I heard Top Time, it didn't quite click that it was bathtub, like you were going to be like, I didn't. If
It's
I had
okay.
known, I probably would have been in
You're
my own top.
fine. It's fine. It's a very chill podcast. So whatever you feel comfortable in, like you're more than welcome to do
Okay,
that. But
okay.
that's very interesting. Your collab with Quavo. It's literally called Quavo's anthem. Like, did you pitch that to him? Were you like, listen, I made an anthem specifically for you to be on it? I'm sure
Yes.
he was so stoked about that because usually he's thought of being in a collective with amigos. So
Hmm.
to have him himself, and why just him? Like why not like Offset? I'm sure Takeoff, rest in peace. Like was he still like there at the time or?
Okay, Takeoff was already dead.
Oh,
As
okay.
far
Sorry.
as yes.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I don't mean to laugh at that. I'm just
No,
like,
I get you. But
yeah.
with him, it was more like, okay, here is how I make music is if I probably am hearing something all the time. Let's say we do this interview and maybe there's something memorable about it, and maybe top time is just there in my subconscious. A song may come and it just comes as maybe top time. And with music, music goes with words. The sounds go with words. Sometimes when you try to change the words, it may not necessarily be as musical as it was when maybe it was just top time, chilling with top time. And if I try to
Yeah.
put another word, it may not necessarily work with the song. So for
Yeah.
Quavo's anthem, it was just Quavo that just it was just that's just how I make music. The song just pops out of my head. I start singing it, and then I pick up my phone, I record the tune. I'm not going to lie. I tried to even like, put some other words like swivel. Can I put some? But those words were not fitting. They were not giving me that musical feel that Quavo had, like the Quavo, the vo.
Yeah.
I couldn't really get it. So I tried and I just felt like, okay, I'm going to let this go. And I'm not just going to do a Quavo's anthem without putting Quavo on it. It's either he takes the song, and if he wants to feature on it too, fine. You know, I would have it. So
I like
that
that you have to feel one with what you're producing. Like I like that you have to feel one with the music.
it's if you listen to my entire album, like I have an album that dropped August 29th. That
Uh-huh.
album is titled Every Sound. So
Yeah.
and every sound is more like you will hear all of the musical influences I've had. You'll hear orchestra, you'll hear jazz music, you hear hip hop, you hear hardcore
Yeah.
rap, you hear Nigerian Afrobeats, you hear pop music, rock music, Caribbean sounds like reggae, salsa, reggaeton, all in one
Tell
album.
me more about that because you don't like you're one of the only artists who does not like to be fit into a box, right?
Yep, yep.
And most of the time, managers, from my own experience, even as just an influencer and creator, most managers tell you, listen, you have to focus on one thing because if you focus on one thing, then people know you for that one thing, and then that catapults you to success. Why did you kind of resist that as an artist? Because there are a lot of artists that are solely known for rap, solely known for pop, solely known for Afrobeats, solely known for jazz, etc., etc. But you, and listening to your music as well, it does have a blend of everything. Like each individual song, like it's never really like the same. It's something that can go with every single mood that someone is feeling.
Mhm.
So, I mean, how did you kind of resist that as an artist? And do you ever get any, pushback, like, or any pressure to feel like you should maybe kind of narrow it down or
Yeah,
not?
yeah, I've had criticisms where people would say, you sound confused, you're everywhere, and you're rapping today and tomorrow you're singing about love, and the other day you're talking about how you're a beast, how you're this and all that. But how I see it is, this is entertainment. I don't know why people won't just open their hearts to the fact that as an entertainer, sometimes you get bored of doing the same thing over and over again. And just as you're getting bored, the audience is also getting bored. I've seen people repeat the same rap style over and over because they don't want to lose an audience. But eventually they will lose that audience because they now sound boring. They're using the same lyrics,
Yeah.
even if not
And the
necessarily.
audience picks up on that too. They're like, oh, this is the same song. He just did that on track 5.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So eventually you get burnt out because you're recycling the same topics, and like, okay, for hip hop, it's more about girls. What else are you gonna say about girls that Lil Wayne hasn't said, that Quavo hasn't said. You just find yourself rolling around the same topic. And at some point, that's why hip hop for now, you notice that there is this decline in listenership because it's just the same thing, the same thing, the same thing, the same thing. So, and then particular genres fit some topics more, like pop and R&B fit more of love. So when you're using pop and R&B to talk about thug life, it may not resonate as much as when you're talking about love. Just like when you're talking about love in hip hop, sometimes it doesn't resonate as much as you're talking about the street life. So what I do is that when I want to talk about street life or girls or something else, I may want to go do hip hop music. And there's a side of me that likes love and all of those things. I use pop and R&B to talk about those things. If I want to do dance music, sometimes I want to go with Afro beats or Afro pop or reggaeton dance hall. So all of those different genres are satisfying my different artistic cravings. And
That's good.
those
It's good that you're able to channel that and not just hide those parts of yourself. You want to share that with your audience and you want
okay,
them to feel what you're feeling.
okay, now, so who says Salma can't be a sports broadcaster? If you get out of this talk and you put on a nice, suit, and, pants and everything, you would fit well on ESPN. So why would you just limit yourself to, oh, because I'm, top time, maybe I blew from top time, I have to remain in the top because at
Yeah.
some point it's going to feel like, man, I need something new, you know?
No,
It's
I'm 100% the same way. I mean, I have like seven other things that I do. I'm also a makeup artist, I model, I host events. And all the time, people are like, well, shouldn't you focus on one thing? And I'm just someone who has naturally a lot of energy for a bunch of different things. And I like to compartmentalize because tub time it's a very social time for me. I don't really get to have that social aspect with many of my other ventures. Like modeling, it feels very singular. I do makeup artistry, but I haven't done that too much in Dubai where I've been for the past 3 months. Events and podcasting are like the two times that I really get to feel like I'm connecting. But my events, like I only host like once a year, really. So I mean,
where are you originally from?
so I like where my parents are from, or like where like I'm like from.
Yeah, your
Me.
parents, then
So
you.
my parents are Pakistani.
Okay.
I was born in New Jersey, raised in New Jersey, and then started working in New York City.
Okay.
So, like from an early age, I always knew that I wanted to be a creative kind of person. My parents wanted me to go a very traditional, like you have to be a doctor kind of route.
I
But my
know.
mother was an artist. So I grew up doing art competitions and singing, dancing, everything that had to do with the arts. And I knew I wanted that to be a career path for me because art isn't a very linear thing. It's
Hmm.
something that you have to have a lot of confidence doing. You have to be very self self-involved and also willing to share your passion with others. So I completely get channeling that into different avenues, and that's something that I've always wanted to do. So eventually, like before influencing and content creating was even a career, like I was already kind of doing that just naturally. At the time they just called it unemployment. So this was something that I was just doing while I was doing like college studies and whatever. But eventually it just kind of became more and more natural to me to just want to, explore that. I mean, for me, I really admire you as an artist because you're not afraid to really pursue your work as a true creative.
Yeah.
And
I,
despite the challenges that you've gone through, I mean, I read that you've lost your voice at one point.
Yeah, I did lose my voice. That was actually the reason I was more of, yeah, okay, I started out rapping, which almost every young, person does because you just want to feel like, you're a homie. But then I discovered that I could really sing, like really, really sing.
Yeah.
I can hold my own against any girl in my choir then. because I was in a singing choir in my high school. So when I started singing, I kind of dropped the rapping. But then when I lost my singing voice, and then went for two nasal operations, and it proved abortive. I couldn't, they couldn't really like get the stuff that was blocking my nose to get out of the way. And then I started rapping. I kind of like just let the singing go, honed my rapping skills for a while. Then I discovered that the minute I let go, that tension between me and me just wanting to sing kind of died down, and things started to improve. I started getting healing back from my the because my voice became so hoarse, I couldn't really like belt out notes.
Mhm.
And but the minute I started just rapping and just kind of like just let the singing go, my healing started coming, and I could discover some days I could sing, and then maybe 6 months I couldn't sing again, and one day I would just discover that.
Wait, like what was it though? Like was it like
Okay, it's a medical condition called rhinitis. Rhinitis
okay.
is when, okay, normally your nostrils have like hairs, right? You have hair in your
Um,
nostrils, and then there is two other red things around here in your inside your nostrils.
okay.
Those things, they also have tiny hairs, but they are meant for secondary filtration of air after the first filtration from the hair, around here. So
Yeah.
what happened to me was that I don't know how it happened, but I lost all the hair in my nostrils. Yes. So the red turbinates, they call them turbinates, they had to grow a little bigger to
Uh-huh.
control the air that was going, like dust and every other thing that was going into my system. So it had to grow out. So the way my body physiology was now working was that it here gets blocked for maybe like 4 hours. And then after like 4 hours, this one starts to open up and this one starts to get blocked. So either ways, my notes were not coming out right because my air space was blocked, because you make sounds with air. So that was what happened.
And I'm sure that affected your breathing and
Everything, everything.
everything. Like,
Even when I talk, then you could barely hear me where you like if I'm this far from my screen, you would barely hear me because you needed to be very close to hear, and my voice became very thick. So I went through all that, and given that I was such a very good singer in the past, that led to that depression. Like I just couldn't stand it anymore. Here is this guy who was in the choir, and girls would make room for him because he was like the best singer around. And then
yeah.
you just go to that guy I just went from like 150 to minus 150. It was terrible. But eventually it took about 15 to 18 years for me to really start being able to consistently sing. So that's why these days a lot of things don't move me. But what happened in those 15 to 18 years was that I, st- because it was a progression, my voice was getting better. Today I can do maybe like country music because my voice is thick, and I don't really need like very tiny notes. So
That's awesome. Have you done country music?
yes, there's country music.
Right.
This album I just dropped. That's why the album is titled Every Sound. I released it
Yeah.
just August 29th. So you check out the album from track 1 to track 28, like 15 different genres in one album. So I went from orchestra to rap to pop to R&B, jazz, Afrobeat, Afropop, reggaeton. I used Spanish for my reggaeton song, Aurea. Yes.
Song is my favorite.
Yes. Aurea is track
That
one.
Afrobeats like my top two.
Yes. Reggaeton is like track 17. I used Spanish throughout. We had to get a Spanish teacher. My label had to get a Spanish teacher for me. I used Google Translator, and so that was how we did that one. But basically, all through those years, the different tones of voice I was having while going through those stages of depression.
Yeah.
I was writing music in all of those different, because your voice determines the type of songs that you write. Most
Yeah.
times you don't write above your vocal capacity. It's just
Yeah.
that's the way it is. It's just like your legs will only move as far as how tall you are. When you're walking, it's just how it is. And but as my range got better, I started doing more songs that were vocally tasking, and that was how I now had different types of tones. Like I could go to when my voice was much take her and do something in that tone of voice and still come back to where I am right now. So I can now
Yeah.
swing between all of those different tones of voices while I was going through those, stages of progression for my voice to come back. So
Yeah.
that's basically what has made me the musician that I am today. I'm not afraid to express myself in any of those styles, in any of those tones. Whatever I'm feeling, I just put it on wax and just
Wow.
let it go. And it's always been ingrained in me that why would you have the capacity to do so much, but then shrink yourself to one thing because people are going to say you're confused, or why don't you stick to one thing? But why if there are mom and pops, there are corner stores, there are supermarkets, and there are departmental stores. So why,
Yeah.
if you have the space and the capacity to be a departmental store, why do you want to be a mom and pop? Why do you want to
Yeah.
be a corner store?
Yeah.
So that's how I think about it.
Wow. So in your shows, like what's so how do you kind of channel that into your performances? Because do you have just like a bunch of different like instruments, like a bunch of different like I'm sure your crew is like huge, right? For your
Mhm,
shows. What's the
mhm.
biggest festival that you've performed so far? And do you plan on doing any world tours soon? Do you maybe want to come to Dubai at any point?
No, if the pay is right, why not? We'll come to Dubai.
Yeah.
We'll come
You
and
could
have.
do some Arab fusion,
Yeah.
Arabic music.
Okay.
That
Okay.
would be
Like
really cool.
if a song like "Sit Down Pony" on my album.
Yeah.
That funny, you hear that kind of like Indian Asian vibe. You hear, oh, now I'm on, sit down, funny, make you keep me company, sit down, funny, So that it's deliberate. It's meant to have that Asian feel. So when we say the album is every sound, we were looking at all cultures, all backgrounds, all people. Um, I mean, I have people loving like Tranquility, is the orchestra song on the album, like classical music. It's gonna make you feel like you're in the 1600s, like you're listening to Beethoven or Mozart or one of those guys. And then you have Beach Waves, which is a jazz song. If you know Kenny G is a jazz
Yeah,
maestro.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're listening to Beach Waves, it's gonna make you feel like you're listening to one of the tracks from the best of Kenny G.
Oh,
So
nice.
the entire album is just different genres of music, but the best of the different genres of music, not just me attempting. Because a friend of ours texted us 2 days ago and said, "We think Zexzy should just stick to Spanish music because he really not the and I'm not a native Spanish singer. Like I use Google Translator, I listen to native speakers,
Right.
but it's just in me to deliver the best, for any genre that I go into. And even if I'm going to do a song, like if you listen to Lil Wayne's song, you listen to Quavo's song, my voice was changing, in all of those songs because I just adapt to a new sound and do it as it should be done,
Right.
and not try to just do it some other. I just do it the way I feel it should be done
Yeah.
with the vocal interpretation in my head. I lay it down, and that's just how it comes out. And you'll find even comedians, they come on stage, they mimic people, they talk, they try to do impressions of different people, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and all of that. And
Kind of like a voice acting, but
kind of
music.
kind of like, yeah. So even
Yeah.
in music, you can switch tones so that you don't sound boring. because you listen to some people's album and it's just like the same kind of beat, almost the same tempo, almost the same set of lyrics, the same style, the same delivery. While that is good in terms of consistency, yeah, people may know you for one thing, but it gets boring and then people just tune out. That's how I see. So if the pay is right, why not? We'll come to Dubai, you know.
I think
So,
you should. I mean, I've been at Blue Club a lot recently. I've seen Lil Pump here. I've seen ASAP Ferg. I'm
mhm.
pretty sure there are artists that come here like all the time. I've only been here for 3 months, but I mean, we would love to have you out here. It would
Yes,
be
of
an
course.
absolute pleasure.
Yeah, like I said, we are open for business. You have my management's email. If yeah, you're an event host. If you
Yeah,
if you if you guys need us to come around, we just dropped that album is an hour 29 minutes, about an hour 30 minutes to tear about.
I
So
would be so honored.
so
Are
we
you
can
kidding
we can
me?
actually host a show of 2 hours and we'll keep everybody spellbound. And then think about a show like this where you have like the way I arrange my sets in my shows is that I always start from Africa where I'm from. Like I do all of the
Yeah.
Afrobeat sets, and then I go into the Caribbean. I do all of the reggaeton and all of the dancehall music, the reggae, and then I go into North America where I start to rap and I'm still doing my country music.
It's
Like
so huge in North
exactly.
America.
So we are
So
bringing
huge.
different demographics
Yeah.
together, different people. So there's something for everyone. So it's not just
Yeah.
it's just Afrobeats. No, it's not just country music. So
Yeah.
it's a multicultural style of presentation
Yeah,
that
and it
the
actually
world hasn't seen.
unifies your audience even more because
Exactly.
you're not just catering to a specific sector, you're bringing so many people together. You really have a sense of community. And not just that, but you have a story behind everything that you do. You bring your struggles, you bring your passions, you bring your past and your future all into like one show. And I think that's something that's so special. Not only that, but I feel like your music it just goes for so many different vibes. I feel like you see, like I feel like you have like a certain like vision, and you just match like whatever music like goes with that vision. So being on Tub Time right now, like what's the vibe that you're feeling? What genre would you assign Tub Time music wise? If
Trust
you were
me.
to pick a theme song for Tub Time, like what would that be?
Go for Sit Down Pony. Sit Down
Yeah,
Pony is a
I love
sexy.
that song. I
Yeah,
was
it's just gonna
drinking
like
wine earlier and listening to that song. I was like, this is such a vibe. I love that. I
it.
100% would assign that song to this
Yeah.
for sure.
So, are you just gonna be there in Dubai for another 1 year, or you want to come back to the
You know
States?
what? I've actually been thinking of living here indefinitely. As much as I love New York City, as much as I love the USA, I personally feel like Dubai just has a certain magic to it. I can't explain it. There's something inside the city that just makes me feel like every day is just a dream. But also every day, like I just wake up with a new purpose. And I feel like I can balance my work and my lifestyle here better than when I'm in the States because the States is very work oriented. It's
Yeah.
very, that capitalism, good old
Tension.
capitalism, just
Yeah.
keeping you
Very tense.
that
It's a
we
very
only
tense.
get 2 weeks of vacation a year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So, but were you doing presentation here in the US too, or you were doing
I
some kind
was.
of
I
okay?
was. I mean, I was doing a lot in the United States. I actually would say like the United States is where I really made my name. And I felt like I had a very, very great momentum. Here in Dubai, like it's very easy to just kind of be more on like more a little like desert brain, like
Mm-hmm.
like just feel like you're just kind of sitting oh I mean no one's ever really sitting around, but everything does move a lot slower here, and that's something that I haven't really experienced. But I do have enough time to kind of plan out my day more here. Back in the US, I started everything like I used to wake up at 4 in the morning, like and just get my day started. I would try to finish everything that I could by like 3 p.m. So my sleep schedule was like totally messed up. I like lived off of like coffee basically. Here I actually get to wake up, eat, have a nice lunch, in the tub, chill. Because there's a huge time difference between here and the US. Where in the US are you? Like what time? Oh, you're in the East Coast, right? Like are you
Yeah, I'm
around
in
New
New
York?
York. I'm in New York. Yeah.
You're in New York. That's awesome.
Mm.
Wow. But how is it right now? Like how's the
It's sunny. It's
weather?
sunny.
Like
It's sunny. It's sunny outside.
it's sunny outside.
But I think fall is coming, and the evenings are beginning to get a little cold.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but it hurts to know that summer is fast fading away because summer is
It
actually
is.
the best time of the. For me, it's the best time of the year because everywhere is warm. People are outside. I could I could go to my sister's house, and friends will come around. They have like a big backyard. We could play football, and
Yeah.
and
I mean,
then
the parties in New York are pretty amazing. I will say that. That's one thing I really miss about New York is that the
yeah,
parties are like
yeah,
another level.
yeah, have a cookout, and just have fun with family and friends.
Uh,
But then when during winter, everybody's
it's so depressing. It's
so
horrible. It's
man, everywhere
really,
is
it's
so,
so
so
bad.
cold, and people don't want to come out. Even when they do, everybody's
Everyone's
frozen.
so rude to each other because they're just so cold. Like, and
Yes.
they just don't want to bother with each other at that point.
So it
But
hurts
I
that.
understand. I get it. I mean, like, just everyone just wants to go out for like ramen or like something hot and then just get back inside. I mean,
Yeah, but
yeah, I totally get that.
everyone
But
who's lived outside the US always say that they always say the same thing, that the tension in the US is just too much. They
yeah,
just want to go somewhere else, and I feel it too. Most times when I visit Nigeria, there's just that ease, like. But in the US, everything
looks
is so
so
uptight.
beautiful. I mean, so many people in Dubai. I've met a lot of Nigerians here, a lot
Hmm.
of people from Uganda, Ghana, Rwanda. They'll show me pictures, and I'm just like,
Mm.
oh my God, like Africa is like such a beautiful continent. And I
Yeah,
feel like that never really gets showcased enough.
yeah. It's just the if you there's even a song on my album titled "Oh Africa." Like
Yeah,
I said, there's the African section that we all started. We started the album from the motherland, Africa, right? So
yeah,
the number three song on the album is "Oh Africa." So just talked about the beauty of Africa, the serenity, the peace, and all of those things that you find when you come to Africa. You're gonna love that song.
yeah,
That song will put you in a theater mode. Like
yeah.
it was produced like as an epic piece, and it has a lot of orchestra sounds. You love the album. Trust me. All of the songs are
Yeah.
different with different vibes, different tones, different
Mhm.
melodies. So, but "Oh Africa" is definitely a song that you should look out for. It's just number three on the
Well.
album. You want to hear more about Africa? Just listen to "Oh Africa." It's a very very lovely tune. Um, yeah. So it's always tense being in the US, but there are a lot of opportunities here too, um, if you explore them the right way.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah. So I just wanted to have access to good producers, people who mix and master. There are a lot of great producers too in Nigeria. Um, but I kind of wanted to expand my frontier, and my label wanted me to network more, meet more artists, talk with them, brainstorm, and just
Yeah.
keep pushing the brand. So
Yeah.
that. But I still do travel to different places. Like I was in Kenya, um, the East African Awards. I was done like 3 months ago. Myself and my manager we were in Kenya for the award. People came in from Tanzania and all of those places. But it was very lovely. We saw the giraffes. We saw. We were supposed to go to the equator. It's a place where they said like it's I don't know how they geographically explained it, but I think it's the center of the earth or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's in Kenya, but it was somewhere we're supposed to go, but we didn't have enough time.
Okay.
We had 1 week to do photo shoot, video shoot, the awards, so we didn't have enough time to go pursue the center of the earth. But it was just nice to know that um, Kenya is such a great place and a lovely place with beautiful people.
Yeah. So being an artist, I mean, especially living in New York, I mean, for me, I already kind of gave you the layout of how my life was, how I never
Mhm.
got any sleep whatsoever. Since Tough Time has a really big focus on wellness, how do you kind of reset from the very fast paced music life? Because the musicians that I know, they also don't get any sleep. They're also constantly working. How do
Mhm.
you kind of balance wellness? Because like you've been very open about having depression, anxiety,
Mhm.
and facing so many struggles, and you've fought through that
Yeah.
beautifully. So how do you do that? How do you kind of stay so calm, so laid back, so level headed, and just so you seem like a very peaceful person, and it's just amazing to see, especially as an artist. So,
Yeah, I think it it boils down to how your inner mechanism works. That's how your life works. I've tried my best to really try to keep what's happening out there in the world out there, and
yes,
then keep my sanity inside, so that way I can radiate that peace from inside to the outside world. So what I do, I try my best not to, because I think everybody's chasing a trend, trying to fit in. Even with the whole eclectic thing that I'm doing, the album I just released now is the most eclectic album in the world. I mean, a lot of people would say, why not, just focus on Afrobeat since you're from Africa, or you have a great dancehall voice, just focus on dancehall. But I've learned that when you take everybody, it's good to listen to people, uh, but at the same time, you're your best doctor, you're your best counselor, because you know yourself more. You know what suits you, you know what satisfies you. But most times we all want to live in a persona that has been created for us, um, either by our management or the industry we're trying to go into that wants us to fit into a particular box. And that starts to give us a lot of mental stress. I think
yeah,
mental stress is even worse than physical exhaustion,
oh
because
yeah,
yeah, because people are overthinking things, the things that you shouldn't worry about. You worry so much about them, and then it leaves you depressed because you're not really living a life of purpose. You're not living in your true self. You're trying to fit into a box. So the way I decompress is to live how I really want to live, to express myself the way I really want to express myself, not bothering myself about, trying to be. My brand is that I don't have any boundaries. I don't have
yeah,
any pigeonhole that you can put me in. That's the brand I have cultivated for myself. And people are getting to come around the idea that, okay, this guy, you really can box him in. Let's just let him do his thing. Let's just allow him be. And now it's paying off for me because I'm not under any pressure to live up to the frame that people have carved out for me to fit into. I'm just living my daily life as it should be, and then I try to exercise every morning. I must do my calisthenics workout.
nice.
Yeah,
Calisthenics is awesome.
so I try my best to make sure that I do my 10,000 recommended steps. Sometimes
Yeah,
it's 13,000, but I try to just keep it to 10,000.
yeah.
Except when I'm traveling, that's when probably I skip a day or two, and then once I get back to regular programming, I make sure that everything goes, the way it should. And because I'm also in my place of purpose, I'm not under any pressure. I can write a song in 20 minutes. I
Nice.
can record in 2 hours. I can record under an hour. And it will still be the loveliest song you've ever heard. So I have enough time to decompress and you know listen to my favorite podcast, learn a thing or two, read a book if I want to. Um, so there's I'm living a very wholesome life.
Yeah.
So I'm not really pressured by anything.
Yeah.
because I'm done with that stage of trying to impress people and trying to be who people think I should be. So
Right.
I think being myself is pretty much all I have had to do to deal with the pressures of this world.
Yeah. Do you ever have like little bathtub like sessions, or do you ever like light a candle or well, there are no tubs in like New York City apartments, really. It's just
Yes,
like
yes,
it's like a
there.
shower.
Okay, except I'm with a lovely lady, I'm not really like gonna do tubs, But when you're with, a pretty lady and you guys wanna, have some fun, you wanna lay in the tub, yeah, it becomes. But by myself, no, not really. I just go in there, enjoy my warm bath. Um, yeah, but I really take my time in the tub though. But I try my best to just. I usually like warm baths. I'm not like a cold bath type of guy.
I'm not a cold plunge person at all.
Yes.
Actually, I was reading an article that they're not even very good for you. And I
Okay.
never really imagined them to be very good for someone, because for me, like doing a cold plunge is like a one-way ticket to hypothermia. For me,
Yeah.
I love the heat. Maybe I'm like part reptile or something, but the heat is like where I love to be. People actually like they ask me, they're like, "Why did you move to Dubai in the middle of summer?" For
Mm.
me, it doesn't really bother me so much.
But Dubai is warm all year, right?
It is.
Oh,
Although I would say November and December are the best times to be here because the weather does cool down. It's very beautiful. You can walk outside and not feel like you're dying.
is it that hot?
Here it's like right now in the middle of well, it's not in the middle of summer. It's like late summer, but last month it was up to like 113 degrees easily, like in the day, in the middle of the day. I was still
Your
at the pool. I was
your
still at the
your,
beach
your
club.
ACs must be working on all cylinders then.